Rashford's confusing return. What's really going on at United? Imagine being told by your boss that you can take extra time off to look for a new job, but then showing up to work anyway. That's exactly what Marcus Rashford did this week, and it's left everyone scratching their heads about what's really happening at Manchester United. On Monday and Tuesday, Rashford was back at Carrington training ground, working on his own while his teammates got on with pre-season preparations. But here's the thing, he wasn't supposed to be there. United had given him until later in July to sort out his future and potentially find a new club. So why did he show up? And what does this tell us about the messy situation United have created for themselves? Let's dive into one of the strangest transfer stories of the summer. The 5 players in limbo. First, let's set the scene. Rashford isn't alone in this awkward situation. United have essentially told 5 players that they're not wanted and given them extra time to find new clubs. The others are Alejandro Garnacho, Jadon Sancho, Antony, and Tyrell Malacia. All 5 players are out of favor under Ruben Amorim, United's manager. Rather than having them train with the main squad and create an uncomfortable atmosphere, the club decided to give them extended leave until later in July. The official line from United was that these players had all asked to leave the club. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of the players' representatives have denied this. They say their clients would have been happy to return to training with everyone else. This creates a confusing picture. Did these players really ask to leave? Or is United trying to push them out? The truth probably lies somewhere in between, but it shows how messy the situation has become. Rashford's individual training sessions. So what exactly has Rashford been doing at Carrington? According to reports, he's been working on an individual basis, away from the main group. He hasn't been taking part in team training with the rest of Amorim's squad. This is an unusual situation for any player, let alone someone who has been at United since he was a boy. Rashford came through the club's academy and has been a first-team regular for years. To see him training alone while his former teammates prepare for the new season must be difficult for everyone involved. United have made it clear that medical and rehabilitation services remain available to all 5 players during their extended leave. This suggests they're trying to handle the situation professionally, even if it's awkward for everyone. But the fact that Rashford chose to use these facilities when he could have stayed away speaks volumes about his mindset. He's clearly keeping himself fit and ready, whether that's for a potential move or a surprise return to the United squad. The number 10 shirt situation. Perhaps the most symbolic part of this whole saga is what happened to Rashford's shirt number. United have stripped him of the famous number 10 shirt, which will now be worn by new signing Matheus Cunha. This is a big deal. The number 10 shirt at United carries history and expectation. When Rashford was given this number, it was seen as a sign that the club viewed him as a key player for the future. Taking it away sends a clear message that his time at Old Trafford is probably over. Cunha, who joined from Wolverhampton Wanderers for £62.5 million, will now wear the shirt that Rashford made his own. It's a passing of the torch that must sting for the England international. For United fans, seeing Rashford lose his shirt number to a new signing represents how far the local boy has fallen in the club's estimation. Not too long ago, he was considered one of the most promising young players in world football. Where could Rashford go? If Rashford does leave United this summer, where might he end up? The reports suggest he's prioritizing a move abroad, which makes sense given his situation. Barcelona have been mentioned as a possibility, especially after their pursuit of Nico Williams fell through last week. However, Liverpool's Luis Diaz is also said to be of interest to the Spanish giants, so Rashford isn't their only option. The 27-year-old is apparently open to leaving either on loan or as part of a swap deal. This flexibility might be necessary given his high wages and the need for United to find a solution that works for everyone. A loan move might actually be the best option for Rashford. It would give him a chance to rebuild his reputation and rediscover his form, while United could potentially bring him back if things don't work out. United's financial constraints. One of the reasons United are in this position is their need to raise funds through player sales. The club has already spent big on Cunha and are still pursuing Brentford winger Bryan Mbeumo as their priority target. But to make further signings, United likely need to sell players first. This is where the situation with Rashford and the other four becomes crucial. If they can't find buyers for these players, it could limit their ability to strengthen the squad further. The problem is that all 5 players are on significant wages, making them difficult to sell. Other clubs know that United want to get rid of them, which weakens their negotiating position. This is why the headline talks about United creating a mess of their own making. They've publicly identified players they want to sell, but haven't been able to find buyers. Now they're stuck with players who don't want to be there and a manager who doesn't want to use them. The Amorim factor. Ruben Amorim's arrival as manager has clearly changed the dynamic at United. The Portuguese coach has identified the players he wants to keep and those he's happy to let go. For Rashford, this represents a fresh start that hasn't worked out in his favor. New managers often give players a clean slate, but Amorim has apparently decided that Rashford doesn't fit his plans. This is particularly harsh for Rashford, who has been at United for so long. He's seen multiple managers come and go, and now finds himself unwanted by another one. The fact that Amorim has been so decisive about these 5 players suggests he has a clear vision for how he wants his team to look. Unfortunately for Rashford, that vision doesn't include him. What this says about modern football. The Rashford situation highlights some of the less appealing aspects of modern football. Here's a player who came through the club's academy and has given years of service to United, but is now being pushed out because he doesn't fit the new manager's plans. It's a reminder that football is ultimately a business, and sentiment doesn't always win out. United clearly believe they can replace Rashford with better players. Hence the signing of Cunha and the pursuit of Mbeumo. For fans, it's difficult to watch. Many United supporters have grown up watching Rashford and hoped he would be a one-club man. Instead, they're seeing him train alone while newer signings take his place. The rehabilitation angle. One interesting aspect of this story is that United have kept their medical and rehabilitation services available to all 5 players. This suggests they're trying to handle the situation professionally, even if it's awkward. For Rashford, using these facilities makes sense. He's keeping himself in peak physical condition, whether that's for a potential move or a surprise return to the United squad. It also shows that despite everything, there's still a level of professionalism on both sides. United aren't completely cutting ties with these players, and the players are maintaining their fitness standards. The preseason timeline. United's preseason schedule begins with a friendly against Leeds United in Stockholm on July 19th. This gives the club a few more weeks to resolve the situation with Rashford and the other 4 players. If moves can't be arranged for these players, Amorim will have to decide whether to integrate them back into the squad or continue with the current arrangement. Neither option is ideal. The fact that United are traveling to the United States for the Premier League Summer Series adds another layer of complexity. Do they take these players on tour or leave them behind? The human side. Beyond all the tactical and financial considerations, it's worth remembering the human side of this story. Rashford is a 27-year-old who has spent most of his career at United. This situation must be incredibly difficult for him personally. Training alone while your former teammates prepare for the new season can't be easy. The uncertainty about his future, combined with the public nature of the situation, must be taking a toll. The fact that he's still showing up to training despite being given time off suggests he's trying to handle the situation professionally. That's to his credit, even if things haven't worked out as he hoped. Fan reactions. United fans are divided on the Rashford situation. Some believe the club is right to move on from a player who hasn't consistently performed at the highest level. Others feel that a local boy deserves better treatment. Social media has been full of debates about whether Rashford should be given another chance or whether it's time for a fresh start. The fact that he's still training at Carrington has been seen by some as a positive sign, while others view it as prolonging an uncomfortable situation. What's clear is that most fans want a resolution one way or another. The current limbo helps nobody, not the player, not the club, and not the supporters. The bigger picture at United. The Rashford situation is part of a bigger overhaul at United under Amorim. The club is clearly trying to reset and build a squad that fits the new manager's vision. This process was always going to be difficult, and the situation with these 5 players shows just how complex it can be. United are trying to balance getting the best value for their players with the need to move quickly in the transfer market. The fact that they haven't been able to sell these players yet suggests the market for them isn't as strong as hoped. This could force United to reassess their approach and potentially keep some players they initially wanted to move on. What happens next? So where does this leave Rashford and the other 4 players? The situation can't continue indefinitely. United need to make decisions about their squad before the season starts. If no moves materialize, Amorim will have to decide whether to reintegrate these players into the squad. This would be awkward for everyone involved, but it might be the only option. Alternatively, United might have to accept lower fees or contribute to wages to facilitate moves. This wouldn't be ideal financially, but it might be necessary to resolve the situation. For Rashford specifically, continuing to train at Carrington keeps him in the shop window. If a potential buyer is monitoring his fitness and attitude, his professionalism during this difficult period could work in his favor. The impact on team spirit. One concern for United is how this situation affects the players who are staying. Seeing teammates train alone while they prepare for the new season can't be comfortable for anyone. It's a reminder that football success isn't just about having good players. It's about creating the right environment for those players to thrive. The current situation at United is far from ideal in that regard. Amorim will need to manage this carefully to ensure it doesn't affect the players he wants to keep. Team spirit is crucial for success, and this situation has the potential to disrupt that. Financial implications. The financial aspect of this situation can't be ignored. United are paying wages to 5 players who aren't part of their plans. This represents a significant cost that could limit their ability to strengthen in other areas. If these players can't be sold, United might have to consider loan deals where they contribute to wages. This isn't ideal, but it might be the only way to resolve the situation. The fact that United are still pursuing other targets like Mbeumo suggests they're confident they can find solutions. But the longer this drags on, the more difficult it becomes. Learning from past mistakes. This situation raises questions about how United have handled player contracts and squad planning in recent years. Having 5 players that the manager doesn't want suggests some poor decision-making in the past. Moving forward, United will need to be more careful about the contracts they offer and the players they sign. The current situation shows how expensive it can be to get these decisions wrong. It's also a reminder that football is unpredictable. Players who look like good signings can quickly fall out of favor when managers change or form drops. The media circus. The public nature of this situation has created a media circus that helps nobody. Every day brings new speculation about where these players might go and what United's plans are. For the players involved, having their futures discussed so publicly must be difficult. It's hard to focus on football when your career is being analyzed in the press every day. United have handled the media side of this situation reasonably well, but the longer it goes on, the more uncomfortable it becomes for everyone involved. Conclusion. The Marcus Rashford situation at Manchester United is a perfect example of how complex modern football can be. What seemed like a straightforward case of a player being told he can leave has turned into a messy saga with no clear resolution. Rashford's decision to continue training at Carrington despite being given time off shows his professionalism, but it also highlights the awkward position everyone finds themselves in. United want to sell but can't find buyers. Rashford might want to stay, but knows he's not wanted. The next few weeks will be crucial for resolving this situation. United's pre-season schedule is approaching, and decisions need to be made about who will be part of the squad and who won't. For Rashford, this could be the end of a long journey with his boyhood club. For United, it's a reminder that sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones involving players who have given so much to the club. Whatever happens, this situation shows that football is ultimately a business. Sentiment and loyalty can only take you so far. In the end, results and performance matter most. The only certainty is that this situation can't continue indefinitely. One way or another, Marcus Rashford's future will be decided in the coming weeks. For everyone involved, it can't come soon enough.